I got my Schlanket finally. It took like 11 months to get here, 11 months late. Anyways, today I'm going to go over my thoughts of the Game Awards. They're kind of close. It's going to be on December 7th, which is, as of recording this, a week from now? No, a little over a week. Next Thursday for me, December 7th. The Game Awards will be held, and so I kind of wanted to discuss it a little bit. Now, I've never been the biggest fan of the Game Awards. I never found them to be anything truly special. I think it's great that we hold an event for like Game of the Year in different categories for awards that these video games should earn, because the people that make these games 100% deserve it. In Hollywood, you have like the Oscars and a bunch of other things, so it only makes sense that, you know, we have the Game Awards for the people, developers, actors, stuff that put all their effort and talent into making these incredible games. The reason I don't care about it that much is because I don't care about award shows at all, really. The Game Awards is whatever, the Oscars is boring, the Emmys, I don't care, etc., etc. So it just kind of falls into that, but I'm definitely glad the Game Awards exist because these people definitely need the recognition they deserve. Now, obviously, the Game Awards gets very controversial every year because, you know, everyone has their own opinions. This year is especially kind of controversial because there were so many incredible games that came out this year. I think 2023 is definitely one of the best years for gaming ever. Like, there were so many incredible games, whether it was indie, AA, AAA, whatever kind of games. There were some peak incredible games that came out this year. There were also very bad games like Redfall, which I kind of liked, but I can understand why people hated it. We had Golem, and we had the stupid King Kong game that nobody liked at all. So speaking about nominees, I already voted for all the categories a couple weeks ago, but I figured I'll just pull them up now and we can go through all the games and the nominees, and I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on them and kind of talk about, well, everything essentially. Okay, so here's all the categories. Starting off with Game of the Year. As you can see, I voted for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Now, we have Alan Wake 2, which I've never played the first one or the second one, but I can definitely objectively see that it is a fantastic game and definitely deserving being on the list. Baldur's Gate 3 is what I personally think is going to win Game of the Year, even though I didn't vote it because I didn't play it and I don't really like the kind of game it is. I can definitely see it winning. I definitely think it's going to win Game of the Year. We have Spider-Man 2, which I thought was an incredible game. I do think it played it a bit too safe, and I don't think it's deserving a Game of the Year. Resident Evil 4 Remake shouldn't even be on here because it's a remake. Mario Wonder, kind of a sleeper hit. I mean, I haven't played it. I haven't had the opportunity to play it, but it looks really fun, and I know people really liked it, so, you know, whatever. And then, of course, we have The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which I think is Game of the Year. I loved this game. I put so much time into this game. It's just incredible. So I definitely think it's deserving of that, and that's what I picked. Best Game Direction, I picked Alan Wake 2 because even though I haven't played it, from what I've seen of it, I can definitely tell it's worthy of winning this category. For the Best Narrative, I put Phantom Liberty from Cyberpunk 2077. Phantom Liberty was one of the most fun things I've played this year, and I streamed all of it. If you want to go back and check the VODs, I thought it was incredible. I think Cyberpunk 2077 is already a incredible game, and adding the expansion on top of it has made it one of my favorite video games of all time. So I definitely think it's deserving of this category, even though I know everybody would either give it to Final Fantasy 16 or Baldur's Gate 3. I don't think Phantom Liberty is going to win this category, but I wanted to put it there anyways. Best Art Direction, I put Lies of P. It was a kind of a tough situation because Hi-Fi Rush has an incredible artwork, but I think Lies of P is just gorgeous. I just love the aesthetic of it. Like, it's very mystical, you know? It's very Harry Potter-esque, and even though I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan, I really like the direction, the world. I don't know. It feels really cool and magical, and I really appreciated that. I put Zelda for score and music. Apparently, a ton of people liked Final Fantasy XVI's soundtrack, but I've never heard it, and I've also never played Final Fantasy XVI. In fact, I've never played a Final Fantasy game in my life. So, based on my experience, I chose Tears of the Kingdom because, I mean, the soundtrack just hits. It's really good. Best Audio Design, got to give it to Dead Space Remake from what I've seen of it. I still need to play it. A lot of these games I haven't played. Don't get at me for it, alright? I'm getting around to it, okay? They just added Dead Space Remake to Xbox Game Pass, so I plan on playing it soon, but from what I've seen of it and what everybody's been saying about it, it's very deserving of this category. Best Performance, I had to give it to Idris Elba for Phantom Liberty because, like I said, that was one of my favorite gaming experiences of the year. I think he deserves it the most. I know there's people from Alan Wake 2 here and Baldur's Gate 3 never played them. Yuri Lowenthal was great as Peter Parker in Spider-Man 2, but I had to give it to Idris Elba. I loved his performance. Innovation and accessibility, Street Fighter 6, ton of accessibility. Best ongoing game, I put Cyberpunk because it's definitely made a redemption arc, and I don't care about any of these other games, so yeah. Best community support, I also put Cyberpunk because that's just the best I know. I mean, I don't really know how great the community support for Baldur's Gate 3 is. I know people love it, but for community support, I have no idea. I know No Man's Sky has incredible community support, but I played No Man's Sky, but I'm not like huge into it, but I just loved Cyberpunk. I do think Halo Infinite was robbed here because they put Destiny 2 on here, and if I'm not mistaken, Destiny 2 had a horrible last year, essentially. Apart from Bungie laying off their entire staff a month ago, I just heard like the latest in Destiny 2 is just not good at all. And with the redemption arc that Halo Infinite has made this year, it definitely deserves being on here more than Destiny 2 does. Best action game, gotta give it to Ghost Runner 2. I loved Ghost Runner 1. Ghost Runner 2 is also incredible. Peak action, in my opinion. Best action adventure, I have to give it to Tears of the Kingdom. All of these on here are great for action adventure. I think Tears of the Kingdom excels at it. Best RPG, I gave it to Starfield. Don't crucify me, let me explain. I have not played Sea of Stars. I have not played Final Fantasy 16. I have not played Baldur's Gate 3. I know people love Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm sure it is the best RPG objectively on here, but it's just not my kind of game, so I don't really mess with it, you know what I mean? Really, the only reason I did Starfield is because it's the only category it was nominated for. I really liked it and think it deserves to be, you know, in more categories, but, you know, the majority disagree with me. I think it was a good game. I think it was a decent RPG. I don't think it's the best game ever made, but I like it more than most people do, so that's my hot take of the video, essentially. Best fighting, Street Fighter 6. Best family, Mario Wonder. Not the greatest look on myself, but I haven't played any of these, so the only one I've really watched gameplay of was Mario Wonder, and it looks like a lot of fun, so I just gave it to that instinctively. Best adaptation, I had to give it to The Last of Us. Gran Turismo, never saw it. The Super Mario Bros. Movie, I thought was really good, but I think The Last of Us is better. Never saw Twisted Metal, don't even know anything about Twisted Metal in the first place. And Castlevania Nocturne, never saw it either. The Last of Us was such a good way of adapting a video game into a TV show or a movie, or, you know, just into film, essentially. The Halo TV show did that so piss poorly that when I see something like The Last of Us be so good and so faithful to the original, while taking its liberties in some places for the better, it really pisses me off that we never got that with the Halo show. Let's just hope the Fallout show that's coming out soon is faithful to the games as well. My most anticipated game is Star Wars Outlaws because I don't care about any of the other games. I know Hades is loved. I never played it though. I'll get around to playing it at some point, but I don't know. I know it's just like another Star Wars game, but I think it looks more fun. I like the idea of being a scoundrel instead of being a Jedi, you know? And that is where we're gonna leave it for the categories. Obviously, I skipped quite a few, like 8 or 9. That's because I didn't know really anything about them, especially the esports section. I don't really follow esports that heavily, so, you know, I didn't really know what I was talking about there at all. And then there were a couple things in there like content creator of the year, or, you know, just some indie games that I've never even touched in my life or know anything about. So that's why I skipped some of them. For the most part, I think this year the nominees for all these categories are pretty good. Though I would make some changes. I do not think Resident Evil 4 Remake should be considered for Game of the Year. It's very clear it's not going to win Game of the Year. I can 100% guarantee you Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be Game of the Year. I still don't think Resident Evil 4 Remake should be up there because it's a remake of an old game. It should not... Remakes should have their own category. Since we get them so often, they should get their own category because we have multiple remakes every single year. Second, I think Starfield should have been nominated for more categories. I don't care that it wasn't nominated for the Game of the Year category. That's fine. I can definitely see why it wasn't Game of the Year material. But I mean, it should be nominated more than just Best RPG, because obviously the Best RPG category is going to go to Baldur's Gate 3. That's just like there's no competition in that category. I think Starfield should have gotten a few more categories. I don't think it was entirely robbed. And the whole Xbox tax thing people talk about, I don't really believe it's that true. But it still would have been nice to see. You know what I mean? Also, third, Halo Infinite should have made it onto the list instead of Destiny 2 for the best community support. because Halo Infinite has blown it out of the water this year, especially with Halo 5, and it deserves to be up there more than Destiny 2 because, you know, I've never been the biggest fan of Destiny. I've enjoyed it, but it's, you know, whatever. But from what I've heard from the last year of Destiny 2, it hasn't been the greatest. And with what Bungie just did a month ago with laying off most of their staff, I don't even like Bungie anymore. No, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. So yeah, those are really my thoughts on the Game Awards this year. Nothing crazy, no hot takes really. The Game Awards are cool, and it's cool that they hold an event. Like I said, I'm not too interested in them. I don't really care what does and doesn't win awards. But I really do like that they put on a show like this. Yes, my personal game of the year is The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I think it is the best game that's come out this year for me personally, at least from what I have played. I think you can objectively look at something like Baldur's Gate 3 and say it deserves it, and like I said earlier, I really think Baldur's Gate 3 is going to win Game of the Year. But you know, I still cast my vote for, you know, what I believe was Game of the Year, and I do think it was Tears of the Kingdom. Even though you can argue it's a bunch of recycled stuff from Breath of the Wild, I think Breath of the Wild was already a near perfect game, and Tears of the Kingdom just made the perfect more perfect. So, you know, it's my opinion, but, you know, whatever. Now, if we had a potential Razzies for Game of the Year, like worst Game of the Year, it would 100% go to the, what was it called? King Kong Skull Island? That King Kong game that just came out? Absolutely terrible. It is embarrassing how bad that is. And I don't blame the developers, because the developers had like 1 year, a single year, to make this $50 game. They couldn't, you know, they didn't have the resources or the time to get anything good done. So it's an embarrassment, and I feel so bad for the developers because it's really the publisher that just wanted to push out that game, and it's just terrible. If you thought the Gollum game was bad, the King Kong game is worse. But if there was a second place for worst game of the year, it would easily go to Gollum, and then probably to something like Redfall maybe. Even though I did enjoy my time with Redfall, I did make a video on that. I can definitely see why people hate it. And yeah, I wouldn't argue with you if you said you absolutely despised Redfall, because I completely understand. Alright, this video is going way too long now, so I don't know, like, sub, do something. GTA 6 trailers are going to be coming out soon. I'll probably make a reaction video to that. I don't know. Yeah, bye.